Live from Central Pennsylvania, this is CBS 21 News at 6.
We are keeping a close eye on the radar as Central Pennsylvania braces for heavy rains to last through Saturday.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, a flood watch is in effect starting tonight. That's the serious stuff. We begin at 6 with that. I'm Rob Hanrahan.
And I'm Jasmine Brooks. Thanks for joining us. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Tom Russell. Tom, I've been talking to a lot of my friends who are driving and they're in it.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks are, starting that drive even tonight to start for the holiday weekend. And you're right, everywhere you go, there is rain. And it's not just here in central PA, it is above and beyond, to the east, to the west. So this is the radar, and you just see the green everywhere. That just means rain everywhere you look. So no relief from that. As you look around, you see the turnpike, you look a little wider up 81, and it's pretty much everywhere. So that's why we do have this, a flood watch, as Rob mentioned, in effect for all the areas shaded in green there. This goes all the way into Friday evening. So it goes far and wide, all the way north to Maine, south into Virginia. And here is your futurecast. You ready to follow along? The heaviest rain overnight tonight into early tomorrow. I do think we got some breaks during the day tomorrow, and then another wave as we wrap things up tomorrow evening. And look at this. See all the blue? That is lake effect snow action right along Lake Erie here, but also notice this through the Laurel Highlands and well down into West Virginia. So here's your storm timeline for our weather watch day tonight. Rain heavy at times. Overnight, that rain continues, so watch out for some flooded areas. And then tomorrow morning, we taper to some scattered showers, but pretty messy stuff. And tomorrow is the wet day. We dry it out over the weekend, but the trade-off is very gusty, very chilly winds as they work their way in through the weekend. It's a mess. What about next week? We'll talk about that with the 7-day in just a few minutes. Jasmine, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Tom. All this messy weather striking at the same time as the holiday travel season begins.
A record amount of people are expected to be in the air and on the roads. CBS 21's Brendan Kinney live at the 81-83 split in Dauphin County with how you can make your trip as smooth as possible. Not always easy, Brendan, in this heavy rain.
Got that right, Rob. Good evening to both of you. Every time you check in with us, 5:30, now 6, the rain picks up, the wind picks up, and the traffic gets worse. You can see a little bit of a backup on I-81 south going toward the Susquehanna, and we can only expect these conditions to get worse. AAA is predicting a record-breaking 112 million people will be traveling this holiday season. That's more than 1/3 of all Americans, and it's the highest number since AAA has been tracking holiday travel in 2001. To make your travels as smooth as possible, travel experts recommend leaving early, download smartphone apps that use real-time traffic data, and if you can, travel on the holiday itself.
And so in parts of Pennsylvania, there may be a white Christmas, but there also may be some nasty wet weather. So take your time, build in some extra travel time.
And if you're heading to any of the big cities for the holidays, we're talking about New York City, Washington, D.C., Chicago, for example. It's estimated those travel times in those areas could be 4 times as long as normal. We're live in Dauphin County tonight. I'm Brendan Kinney, CBS 21 News.
Thanks, Brendan. Wherever you're heading, please stay safe. You can stay ahead of the storms using our free weather app. Find it in your phone's app store by searching CBS 21 WX.
Tonight, Governor Wolf commutes the life sentence for Tina Brosius. She is the Harrisburg woman who let her newborn die in a porta potty back in 1995. Brosius was 18 years old when it happened. She will spend a year at a community corrections center and then parole for the rest of her sentence.
7 months after a 5-year-old boy falls down a set of stairs and dies, the case is being ruled a homicide. But still, no charges have been filed. CBS 21's Michael Gorsinger now live at York Area Regional Police Department with why. Michael.
Jasmine, the coroner's ruling simply means that 5-year-old Preston Hasselberger's death came at the hands of another person. York Area Regional Police so far not filing any charges in this case. It's a case that some neighbors believe was an unfortunate accident. 5-year-old Preston Hasselberger, a young boy with a bright future. A future cut short by tragedy.
There were at least 7 police cars up there. There was an ambulance up there. There was a fire truck or 2 up there. A lot of commotion going on.
Neighbor Judy Scarpelli remembers May 15th, the day Preston Hasselberger fell down a flight of steps in his Dade Court, York Township home. Despite the best efforts of first responders, Hasselberger died of his injuries.
They were taking him out on a stretcher and they were doing CPR on him as they were putting him in the ambulance.
Today, the York County coroner determining the manner of death to be a homicide. The circumstances surrounding the 5-year-old's death has been a mystery since the incident. We do know there was a custody issue involving the maternal grandmother and the boy's father, according to the grandmother's attorney. She says the father took the boy in February of 2018, eventually moving from Maryland to York County.
Oh, it's horrible. It is. I can't imagine losing a child and having to go through that.
Today, we reached out to the district attorney, York Area Regional Police, and the law firm representing the grandmother. All refused comment or did not return our calls. In a short news release, York Area Regional Police saying, quote, although the death of Preston Hasselberger is ruled a homicide, there are currently no criminal charges pending at this time. Now, neighbors tell us there are 2 other kids inside of the home at the time of Preston's death. York Area Regional Police saying this is still an active and ongoing investigation. Live in York County, Michael Gorsegner, CBS 21 News.
Michael, thank you. New tonight, President Trump is announcing Defense Secretary James Mattis will be retiring at the end of February. Mattis says the president deserves a defense secretary whose, quote, views are better aligned with yours. The president says a new chief will be named shortly. More on Mattis leaving coming up on the CBS Evening News at 6:30 with Jeff Glor.
Officials say a number of people are recovering tonight after they may have been exposed to tear gas inside Hershey Park. CBS 21's Amanda Hoskins live in Dauphin County. And as Amanda reports, it all started with a state police training exercise. Tell us about it, Amanda.
Good evening, Rob. Yeah, we're just outside of the park, but where this possible sickness came from is about 1.5 miles down the road. Now, Hershey Park officials confirmed they shut down a couple of attractions in the midway area of the park last night after people reported coughing and having a sore throat. Officials say they worked quickly to find out what was causing this, and eventually they say they traced it back to tear gas. But it wasn't being used in the park. Officials say troopers were using the gas in an exercise at their training facility down the road. State police officials tell us they regularly use the gas for training. They say they always assess wind direction, but last night the wind shifted during their training, and officials tell us they stopped using the gas shortly after. They're still assessing ways to better communicate and look at how this all happened, but they do say that the tear gas has no long-term illness effects. So hopefully everyone is feeling a little bit better this evening. Reporting live in Hershey, I'm Amanda Hoskins. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Amanda. Developing now, recreational marijuana is legal in at least 10 other states and D.C. Governor Wolf thinks it's time for Pennsylvania to consider following suit. CBS 21's Brian Sheehan is live at the state capitol. Brian, the governor reiterated his comments today, right?
Yes, he did, Jasmine. Right now, marijuana is legal for medical purposes only. Some people say that it should stay that way, while others say it's time for Pennsylvania to catch up and light up with the times. On Wednesday night, Governor Wolf tweeted he thinks it's time for Pennsylvania to take a serious and honest look at recreational marijuana. Right now, 10 states and the District of Columbia allow recreational marijuana use in some form. Earlier this year, Pennsylvania opened its first medical marijuana dispensaries. But when it comes to making it available for recreational use, Wolf said the state wasn't ready for recreational marijuana in a radio interview earlier this summer. At the Front Street Diner in Susquehanna Township earlier today, voters had mixed reactions to the possibility of legal pot.
I have mixed feelings about it. If people medically need it, then I'm for it. But I don't know about recreational. I don't know how they could regulate that.
I think it's time. It's proven that there's medical benefits to it, and the laws on it just, I think, are way too strict, and it's time for a change.
Now, right now, several cities in Pennsylvania, including Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, here in Harrisburg, Lancaster, and York counties, decriminalize small amounts of marijuana for recreational purposes. And a Franklin and Marshall poll back in 2017 stated that 59% of voters here in the state say it's time to legalize it. We're live tonight out front of the Capitol. I'm Brian Sheehan, CBS 21 News.
We're highlighting nonprofits and the good being done in the community and our 21 Days of Caring as we continue tonight. We are teaming up with UPMC Pinnacle for the Cribs for Kids program. The hospital was giving pack-and-play cribs to low-income families. It's part of the effort to raise awareness about sudden infant death syndrome.
It's great for, people my age that can't really, maybe not afford everything. So, to have something like this given to us is a real blessing and a real wonderful opportunity.
New parents are also being taught the ABCs of safe sleeping for a child, making sure they are in a spot alone, on their back, and with unnecessary items removed from the crib. Make sure you join us tomorrow. Our 21 Days of Caring continues with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the Capital Region. We'll be highlighting how they assist children in need across the community.
Could a way to save Pennsylvania billions of dollars lie in these pages? We're going to break down a report on pension funds months in the making. Plus,
he will not sign the bill that came over from the Senate last evening because of his legitimate concerns for border security.
A game of chicken playing out on Capitol Hill. The country waits to see which side might back down first in the battle over the budget.
And flood watches are extensive. Check this out, all the way from the Carolinas now through central PA, into Maine and well into the Northeast. So your first warning forecast, soggy as it is, comes up next. Stay with us.